Hey, what's up, Street Gods? This is Eric from the Street Photography blog. So I wanted to do a quick video talking with you about what the purpose is of photography. So I think often as photographers, we kind of make the wrong mistake that we think the purpose of photography is to become a better photographer. Now, I think this idea is a bit misguided because becoming a quote-unquote better photographer is so subjective, and the question is, according to whose measures? Is the measures like how many likes you get on Instagram? Is the how many books you publish? And then even metrics of fame is all relative and subjective, right? So my personal idea is the purpose of photography isn't to become a better photographer. The purpose of photography is to improve your life. Pretty simple idea, right? So this is the basic idea. Photography is a tool and a means to finding more joy and happiness in your everyday life. So for example, I think the camera is a tool to augment our ability to notice beauty in the mundane, beauty in the normal, everyday, boring things. So for example, when you go on a walk around the block, to just see nice texture, to see a kid walking with a grandma, to see a nice stream of light. These are such tiny little details that I think generally only us photographers really notice, or maybe children notice. And even if you think about photography in modern society, it's like anytime we're not doing anything like work related, apparently we're kind of wasting our time. And if you think about the art of photography, it's very childish. It's very childlike in the sense that we just kind of go and we explore and we essentially follow our noses. And consider, you look at a kid playing at the playground or playing in dirt, whatever. You're not like, oh, you're wasting your time. You should be studying, or you should be earning money, or you should be being productive. No, like, maybe the best way for a child to be quote-unquote productive is for them to play. They're producing their own ideas. They're producing, fairy tales. They're producing things with their hands. Like, even if they're at the beach, they're producing sandcastles by themselves, which is probably more than what we adults doing, just like vegging out to Netflix, right? So I think photography is one of the ultimate tools to improve our lives. For example, photography is a way to augment our memory. I don't know about you, but I have a really bad memory, and photography for me is so useful because it helps me remember things I would have otherwise forgotten. So a lot of photos I've shot with Cindy, whether they just be like snapshots or selfies on the phone, or even using the Fuji Instax camera to make little small prints. To me, these are like some of the most precious memories of my life. And this is one thing to consider too, is that when you're on your deathbed, looking back at your life, the way you rate your life, whether you thought you lived a good or a bad life, it's only contingent on your memories of the past. And if photography could help us remember a little bit better, I think photography is amazing. And generally, this is why I'm such a big proponent of using small cameras like a Fuji X-F10 or a Ricoh GR2, or just shooting with your phone, because photography should not be the focus of your life. Rather, photography should be the ultimate complement to your life. So you must find a camera which fits into your lifestyle rather than making photography itself the lifestyle. So for example, let's say if you have a big, bulky camera, don't try to make your life more inconvenient than it needs to be by always carrying around this big, cumbersome camera. No, live your life as you like to live, whether it be going to coffee shops, walking around the park, walking around the city, whatever, and just make your camera your companion. So once again, you're more important than your camera, you're more important than photography. And even ultimately, after we die, I mean, obviously making photos is like our art form, but I mean, they're just photographs. They're not like, it's not like that big of a deal either. And even you think about like Picasso and like Jean-Michel Basquiat and all these guys who created great paintings. I mean, like, the paintings themselves are amazing, and like, I'm very grateful they made them. But it's a little bit sad, like, even thinking about Basquiat, his painting and his artwork caused him so much personal torment. And I'm like, no, this notion of this mentally anguishing, tormented artist is such a bad notion, because I think, and this is a philosophical thing, I think photographs, artwork, art generally should only be created out of a sense of joy, a sense of appreciation and gratitude towards being alive. I don't think art should ever be made as a sense to like escape reality, or like, man, like the world sucks so much and I'm gonna paint and, you know, create this artwork and poetry and photographs which show my inner anguish and stuff like that. Because I think that kind of artwork is not really cathartic for most people. It just makes them more miserable. And then let's say they get famous for their misery, then they're encouraged to just keep putting out this like miserable, apathetic, depressing stuff, because that's what gives them fame and meaning. So it's quite sad. Even now, like I look at a lot of the rappers, like the quote unquote mumble rappers, whatever, it seems like everyone's just kind of apathetic and just kind of like, man, my life sucks. I'm gonna pop some mollies and, you know, go to a club and spend money. It's just kind of, no, life is amazing. I'm personally so grateful that I'm alive. And the main like even before photography, I've always been interested in life and philosophy. I've always had this interesting life philosophy even before I picked up a camera. So even I encourage you to kind of think about your life before photography, during photography, and after photography, and think, is photography a camera or a tool that's bringing me more joy, levity, and happiness to my life? Or is photography something that's causing me some sort of inner anguish and stress, and I'm always checking my Instagram hoping I get more followers and likes and stuff like that? If photography is causing you more stress, anxiety, or frustration, or you're like addicted to looking at gear websites or always want to buy the new camera or whatever, just kind of take a step back and just ask yourself, why do I make photos? For whom do I shoot photos for? Is photography improving my life? What's more important to me, my personal life, or is my photography more important than my life? I think these are all really important questions. So some practical ways I think photography can help improve your life. Making photos of precious memories, which is like memory recollection. I think making photos obviously is an artistic outlet, is that you're so grateful about being alive and you notice beauty all around you. You want to make images of that. Sometimes it's like the joy of sharing, because sometimes you see something beautiful and you're like, I want to share that beauty with other people because most people don't notice. So you photograph that thing and share with other people, and the other people might say, wow, I walk by that every single day. I never noticed it. Thank you so much for photographing it and really highlighting it as being beautiful. I think this is really important. And also just kind of realize, perhaps if you want to be a more happy, productive photographer, just focus on making your personal life happier. Like for example, I'm happiest when I drink coffee, go to coffee shops, go to the gym and do deadlifts. So before I even pick up a camera, I make sure to take care of like my physiological health, because I think so much of just our overall emotion and joy and our energy comes from these physiological things of doing what's necessary to augment our physical strength, whether that be walking around the block, going to the park, talking to strangers, meeting up with friends. And I think it's essential to live a more happy life, because the happier you are, generally the more productive you are as an artist or a thinker or individual. And ultimately you can make a greater impact upon society, because the more productive you are, the more epic thoughts you have, the more you could touch the lives of other people. So it's just a positive feedback loop, is that you're helping yourself and you're helping others. It's a very simple formula. Help yourself and help others. But before you help other people, of course, you must help yourself. So just as a thought, just ask yourself, why do I make photos? And, feel free to leave a comment below, obviously no pressure, and saying, I make photos because of blah, 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 blah. So for me, why does Eric Kim make photographs? I think, very simply plain is, I want to make, so several things. I like photography because it helps me notice beauty in the world around me, whereas I would otherwise not notice it. Also, to me, it's kind of like a sociological tool to analyze society and our search of morals and values, and to kind of critique it and to judge it and to highlight it. And also, for me, photography is a tool or a platform as a means of empowering other people. So like even ultimately, like these videos, they're not really even about photography. It's more about life. It's more about a life philosophy of optimism, positivity, joy, productivity, living a more ascetic lifestyle, finding more gratitude in our life, becoming more empowered and stuff like that. So ultimately, it's not even about photography. It's about life. It's a life philosophy. yeah, even before I really got serious with photography, I studied sociology, so that obviously creeps into a lot of my work. So yeah, so why do you make photos? Write a comment, leave it down below, and just use this as an opportunity to really reflect why you make photos, and especially as we kick off this new year, really just kind of seek to be the most productive photographer and artist you can. Take it back to the old school, take it back to basics. Think about when you first picked up a camera, when you were making photos a lot more like fun, like childlike, before you took photography too seriously, and shoot with joy. And ask yourself, is photography improving my life or making my life more stressful, right? More turbo thoughts to come. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Peace out.